Hey there writers, welcome back to my channel. If you have no idea who I am, my name is Emma and I'm a romance writer from the UK. Today I thought it might be interesting to talk about how much involvement I actually had with my audiobooks, which are in the process of being released. So last year I signed a contract to have 4 of my contemporary romance novels turned into audiobook. Now, the funny thing about being a traditionally published author is that when things like this happen, I think people kind of assume that I had more to do with it than I actually did. So how this actually came about is that I had no idea that negotiations were going on at all. The first thing that I knew about it was when my editor from my publishing company sent me an email with the details of what was being offered, to see if I was interested in taking up this offer. So my actual publishing house have got an agent who works on behalf of my publishers and on behalf of the authors. So I don't actually have an agent. It wasn't anything to do with an agent of mine putting together this deal. It was completely to do with my publishers, and that's because in my contract, and this is usual for most publishing contracts, I have signed over the rights to be able to sell all kinds of the sub rights, like film and TV rights. Wouldn't that be amazing? And audiobook rights as well. I believe that my contract covers pretty much everything to do with any sub rights to do with my books. Anyway, so I received this email, and what was really cool about it is that it detailed in it exactly what the audiobook company had originally offered, which if I remember, I believe they wanted 3 of my books, and they had set out an amount that they were paying as an advance, but then negotiations went on and it became 4 books and the advances were made bigger. So I absolutely jumped at this opportunity because, you know, who wouldn't want an audiobook done of their stories, and also an advance? How cool is that? I'd never had an advance before. That was possibly the most exciting part of it. So yeah, so I agreed to this deal, and then I didn't hear anything for a while, which is quite usual. Now, one of the details of the deal was that they would use the same artwork for the audiobooks as is used for my front covers, which I thought was quite important. And another part of it was that I got the final say on the person who was going to narrating it, as in I could veto anybody that I really didn't think was right for it. So the next thing I heard about what was going on with these audiobooks was that I started to be sent emails with little snippets of people reading my books. So for each one, I believe I've done 3 of them so far, but they have been very spaced out, so I could be wrong there, but I'm fairly sure that I've done 3. Yeah, it must be 3 of them now. Yeah, so for each of them, I typically get sent 3 different voice actors with a voice clip of them reading some part of the book. Each of the clips has got them reading a character. If they might have a particular accent, I'm guessing that they're wanting to make sure that I'm happy with what they're doing, not just with the narration of the description stuff, but also with the actual spoken word, the dialogue. There we go. That's what we're going with. So that's been quite interesting. Typically, most of my characters are British, I think. I mean, my books are set in the UK, so that kind of makes sense. In my book, I'm trying to think of its new name, the one that got away. There we go. It was her secret daughter, his secret daughter, for a long time, and then when my publishers took it on, they changed the name to the one that got away. Anyway, that stars a Spaniard, and so that was quite difficult because I wanted to make sure that I was happy with the accent for that one, that the accent wasn't too overdone, because I didn't want it to feel like a caricature, like that the accent was such a strong Spanish accent that it really stood out from the rest of the story, because that's something that I dislike when I'm listening to audiobooks. Also, this character has spent many, many years in the UK. He's a businessman. He speaks English perfectly, and he will have not lost his accent, but his accent would definitely, when he's speaking English at least, not be as prevalent, I feel, as if he hadn't spent as much time working in the UK. So that was quite a tricky one to work out. I chose the narrator that I was happy with, but then we did go back and forth for a little while. There were several voice clips that I was sent with this wonderful, wonderful voice actress, trying just different combinations of how she would be able to do the Spanish accent, until we reached one that we were happy with. So it's been lovely, because I've really felt that my opinion was important, and that when I have said, oh, I'm not happy about that. I mean, I'm British, so we're never going to go like, I really don't like that. The most I would say is, oh, I'm happy to go with it if that's what you think is right, but it wouldn't be, exactly how I would do it, or something like that. But they've always kind of gone away and come back with a different option for me, which has been very, very appreciated. So it's been quite a fun experience, even though it hasn't been particularly hands-on. But yeah, I have felt that I have had input along the way. Yeah, and then the next thing that I know is when it's publication day, and I get sent a code so that I can listen to my audiobook. But honestly, I haven't, because I think that might be a little bit strange if I did just sit down and listen to my audiobook. I mean, I suppose it would be nice maybe to kind of just listen to a little bit of it, to hear the voice actor who I chose doing their job. I don't know, it's just not something that I've done yet, but maybe I will listen to a bit of some of them in the future. Yeah, so there we go. I find it really, really fascinating, the way that so many self-published authors are doing audiobooks at the moment in so many different ways, either hiring voice actors or even narrating them themselves, which I think is just so cool, and learning so much in the process. I did go to a talk at a conference a couple of years ago, and it was all about how to narrate your own audiobook, and about how the industry changed since 2020, with so many voice actors having to work from home during that time, and making use of duvets and wardrobes and things like that in order to be able to get as good a sound quality as possible. So yeah, I think it's fantastic when people do it themselves. It's not something that I would look into for my self-published books. I don't think, at least not me narrating them. Maybe from my children's picture book, that might be quite fun. I've also considered doing a YouTube video of me reading that one, which I think might be quite nice, something that I might do in the future. Anyway, so thank you very much for joining me for this video. If you've got any questions about anything to do with the audiobook process, that anything that I didn't cover in this video, please pop them down in the comments below. Make sure that you boop that like button and subscribe if you're not already, because we have a lot of fun on this channel, and I will catch you in the next one.